Latino Fest going. We have a very funny man. I know him all the way from New York. He just moved out to LA. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up and eat a donut for Angel Castillo.
Anybody else expect a line of scantily clad women to come on stage and start dancing in the middle of Frank's set? It's like Sábado Gigante, but your mom's dying. That's what that felt like. You know what I love? Frank's from the same country as the Pope. Isn't that great? That's what Argentina gave us. So are we all doing the LA thing where there's wonderful food and nobody's eating it because we're all trying to prove that we don't need to eat? Fuck it, I'll take it. I'll eat my feelings. Fat and shameless in LA. How you doing, everybody? So what I want to talk about, Frank? Everybody's talking about girlfriends and shit. I just got out of a 6-year relationship, and Valentine's Day came, and I was thinking about dating, and I wanted to start dating again. And I realized I can't date, like, ever again anymore. Because after 6 years with this woman, I've completely forgotten how to talk to a woman that I'm not already in a failing relationship with. Like, if I go out dating, what's going to happen is I'm going to go up to a hot girl at a bar and be like, hey, want to come back to my place and argue? Because that's what I think intimacy with a woman is. Do you want to know what my favorite form of foreplay is? Almost breaking up. You know, when you have that awful fight and you want to leave, but you gotta sleep in the same bed tonight because the couch belongs to your roommate, so you gotta fuck just to justify it. You know, the keeping it together because your name's on the lease kind of sex. That's how I roll. I think the breakup was a long time coming. Because, like, she had issues, and I don't mean, like, she had issues the way most guys mean when they say that a girl has issues, which just means that she has opinions. I mean, like, that she had, like, actual diagnosed psychiatric issues. And, like, breaking up with a girl with actual, like, diagnosed issues, it's like trying to pull out of a rack. You're just trying to leave a fucked up situation without causing more damage. And so, like, every few months, I just have these press conference updates with myself where I'd be like, I've met with the heads of the provisional government, Zoloft and lithium, to try and devise an exit strategy. And then when you realize you can't win, you just invade another woman as a distraction. Taking a page out of the Rumsfeld dating playbook. Oh, we got some political scholars in the audience. I moved out here from New York, and she didn't come with me. But we didn't break up right away. So the last few months we were long distance. And to deal with the distance, we decided we were going to become polyamorous. And for those of you who don't know, polyamorous comes from the Latin words for about to break up. I wasn't dealing with the distance very well. Like, I started having these really vivid dreams about being with her. I missed her. And so, like, I had these really realistic dreams. Like, I had this dream, this really realistic dream where I was groping my ex-girlfriend's boobs. And just, like, it felt like it was really happening. And then in the middle of that dream, I woke up to find myself pinching my own nipples. Which, have you ever had a moment where you had two distinct wake-up calls at the same time? Because in that moment I realized, one, I can't deal with this distance anymore, and two, I need to lose weight. Because that's my subconscious feeling up my body and be like, yeah, these make acceptable women's breasts. Let's go, let's just use these. There's a limited number of solutions to that. Either I need to lose weight and start dating, or gain so much weight that I can just fold my stomach over and make love to my own guns. Because then at least I'm not lonely anymore.
Yeah.
Building that sweet, sweet gun. So I moved here from LA, to LA from New York in September, and I wasn't in a good place because of the fucked up relationship situation. I was really depressed the first while that I was here. In fact, the first week after I moved here, I had what has to be the saddest thought of my entire life. It was a Friday night the first week after I moved here from LA. This was a complete thought that I had in my head. I'm so glad Carl's Jr. gave me this many extra napkins in case I want to masturbate. And it's sad, not just because my Friday night plans were a bag of Carl's Jr. and a wank. It was because it was in case I wanted to masturbate. I was depressed to the point about being apathetic about masturbating. Which if you're a guy, you know that's not a good place to be. And, but then I started thinking about the napkins thing, and I was like, that has to be on purpose, right? Like, Carl's Jr.'s been around enough to get some self-awareness. Like, they know that the only reason anyone puts Carl's Jr. in their mouth is so that a gun won't fit in there. So they saw me there at 8 p.m. on a Friday night, and they were like, fuck, this guy's night is ending with a lot of jizz, and or tears, so let's stock him up with some napkins. Like, there should be a rule that if you're in a Carl's Jr. drive-thru anytime after 3 p.m. on a weekend, the speaker should just patch you straight through to a suicide hotline. Yeah, I like a Western bacon $6 thick burger and a large Dr. Pepper. Who hurt you? You're angry at them, not at yourself. If you do this to yourself, you're just giving them what they want. Go home, get some sleep. Drink a glass of water, think about it. You don't want to go through with this. And if you're in an Arby's drive-thru anytime after 3 p.m. on a weekend, it should just patch you through to your parents so you can say goodbye. Because you're not on help, you're just ready to go. My favorite fast food restaurant is Jack in the Box. And the reason for that is that they serve breakfast 24 hours a day. Which is basically admitting that you cater to depressed people. The commercial for Jack in the Box should just be, hey, did you finally roll out of bed at 4 p.m. after failing to sleep all day? Come get some breakfast. Get ready for a nice long day of going back to bed. But I'm really enjoying my life in LA now. I'm starting to get better. I've noticed a lot of things about LA though. Brace yourself for some LA material. Here's the thing, LA people, you guys are more comfortable with your entire city being on fire once a year than you are with a rainstorm a decade. Like, once a year, like clockwork, the mountains just burst into flame like a scene from the Book of Revelations, and people are like, meh. But if it gets cloudy, people flip shit. Like, I've had conversations with people from LA where they've literally been like, hey, check out this charred black spot on my lawn where the wildfire came within 5 inches of my house. We didn't evacuate, though. Oh, by the way, the weather forecast says there's a 20% chance of rain, so don't drive. Don't drive. Like, you don't move when there's fire. You don't move when there's rain. I think there's such a thing as being too laid back when your response to any force of nature is to just stay put and test the patience of God. Like, I think the thing is, I'm originally from Miami, Florida, and rain's just a part of everyday life in Miami. Like, nobody ever moves in Miami. You just wait for the next hurricane to come and wash your apartment back to whatever third world Caribbean country you came from. So now your family back home has a place to stay. And so I think the difference between LA and Miami is the difference between Mexicans and Cubans. Because Mexicans, to get into this country, you just have to cross a river. Cubans, to get here, have to cross 90 miles of ocean. Like, that'll get you over a fear of water pretty quickly. So, like, whenever there's a rainstorm, like, I'm part Cuban, when there's a rainstorm, all the Mexicans scatter, I'm just like, hey, I'm ready for this. Just give me a couple of doors, some empty oil barrels, and a 1957 Chevy with no wheels, and say hello to the USS Gloria Estefan. All aboard, everybody. Guys, I'm Major Castillo. Thank you very much.
So we have one more comedian for you tonight, and then after that, there's an open mic where you get to see a lot of misery. And if you guys want to stick around for that, that's wonderful. I would just like to say,